Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Taylor McLean with Real Broker and Tina Swanger with Remax Properties, and this is the Team TNT Radio Podcast. Let's get into today's episode.
Oh my goodness. I have been looking forward to this day since we started our podcast. I have known Lana Rodriguez for quite a long time since she first got into real estate. I actually worked at the same company when she first came on, and I was just blown away at her energy and enthusiasm, her and her husband, Brian. So it's really an honor to have you here, Lana. Thank you so much. One of the biggest things that really struck me about you is how you just, you know, uh, took all the opportunities and just dove forward. You didn't sit around and the man in the arena, Theodore Roosevelt says, you're the one getting in the arena and you're just taking it and running with it. No matter what happens, just dive in. So I'm really honored to have you. Thank you, Lana. I just want you to introduce yourself. I mean, there's so much. You are running your own company. You are working with an amazing team. You're taking on all the challenges of this crazy real estate industry. And I'm just so excited for you to tell our listeners exactly how you did it.
Well, Tina, Taylor, thank you so much for having me. And hello, or good morning, good afternoon, whatever the time you're listening. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for having me on your show. It's been quite a journey of almost 10 years of selling real estate in Colorado Springs, changing a lot of people's lives, including my team, the agents within my proximity, and of course, most importantly, our clients. And there has been a lot of client stories behind the scenes, mostly successes, but also some, losses. And it's been a very blessed journey that changed my life, my family's livelihood. And I have a story how I got into real estate, and it's thanks to my husband. He actually gave me an ultimatum to go back to work if I wanted to have a family. And back then, 10 years ago, I considered this, how dare you to tell me go back to work? Either it's kind of needs to work opposite. You stay at home and have a child, right? But ultimately, thanks to him, I got into real estate, and I cannot look back. I don't know what else I would do right now if I would not be in real estate sales.
That's funny because he must have known you better than you knew yourself because, raising a family and starting a business and doing as well as you have must have been in your blood, and he knew it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank
so
you.
once you made the decision, how did you juggle that? What did you see on the horizon? What were you hoping for? Was it what drove you?
Yeah, well, I did have a couple of big whys behind my sleeve. And when Brian and I met in Austin, Texas, I was very verbal about how I foresee my future. And I really wanted to have a kid before I was 30. I also, back then, I don't think I have it anymore. Maybe I do. I had a condition called PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. It's a hormonal imbalance that just affects you getting pregnant and getting pregnant fast. And I told him I want to have a kid before I was 30. And also, I wanted to bring my parents into America. And, in the dating stage, Brian's like, yeah, okay, whatever you want. And then we actually got married. And when I got into real estate and got pregnant, I told Brian, this is going to be the year my mom was going to come and watch our kid. And first year in business, I believe at the start of every new career opportunity, we never know how it's going to work out. Did I have big dreams and aspirations to sell a lot of homes in the beginning? No, I didn't. I honestly was just trying to get into the industry and to make enough money to provide for the family. Brian was a sole provider. He was active duty military officer, but if they're paid, they're not getting paid a lot of too. And yes, if you're married, you get a BAH, but we were living on one income. And in the beginning, we even had one car. It was a Kia Soul. If you go look on my Facebook profile, I actually posted a photo of that Kia Soul because right now one of my clients drives it. We still have it. It needs to be like demolished, but he still drives it. We were sharing one car. I would drop him off and I would go to the real estate school. And only when I was into one of my first or two closings in the career, that's when we were able to afford the second vehicle. And it's these very humble beginnings that no one thinks of, because you immediately have expectation to get into real estate and business and start selling and slaying. It doesn't work like this. A lot of us on this call, including you, Taylor, as a new agent, and Tina, with all the endeavors you have been part of, we all had very humble beginnings, and that's why I feel like now we're here and we're appreciating so much more what we have worked hard for. To answer your question and not to go on a tangent, I really just wanted to get into the brokerage. I was blessed with Remax Properties, and Joe Clement, may he rest in peace. He was the first mentor, role model, how real estate is done, and his passion still lives through us all up to this day.
Amen.
And I will never forget my first sales meeting, one of those Remax sales rallies where I was pretty much nobody, sitting in the breakfast table. And I saw, you remember, you saw all the productions of the agents, and there's like 10K club, 20K club, 30K club. And I was so naive, and I asked somebody, was like, what does this mean? Can somebody explain me? And I was told this is GCI. Well, I had no idea what GCI was. And I said, do you mean these people make $10,000, somebody even like $50,000 a month in a gross commission? And I was told yes. Back then, I texted my husband and I said, you set me up for failure. I will never make this. It's just unrealistic to me. How is this even possible? Because my biggest salary ever in my life was $55,000 with no bonuses or commission pay as a store manager of Michael Kors in Austin, Texas. And when I got that salary offer, I thought I made this. Like, Mom, I made it, like that song. And yeah, after a little bit of crying, a little bit of not believing in myself, I was like, well, I'm here. I'm part of Remax. I'm just gonna see, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm gonna try some things. And I did, like door knocking and cold calling. And I hated it, to be honest. And Taylor, kudos to you, because I know you're doing cold calling, you're getting opportunities. I just couldn't do it. I felt so discouraged. And very early on, I got into Brian Buffini systems. And that's when I saw hope at the end of the tunnel.
That is so cool. Well, and yeah, Taylor, you've been killing it with all of your skills in marketing and advertising, and I'm seeing your posts all over. She's making me look bad, Lana. She is. I'm seeing all her stuff. I'm sitting there going, dang, girl, I need to step up my game. Oh,
I appreciate that so much. And, I have to give credit where credit is due, because I met Lana and she inspired me to do this. I mean, seriously, like, you literally inspired me to be present on social media. I remember when we first met, and basically I met Lana because I got my license and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do now. I'm so confused. I don't know where to hang my license. I don't know what to do. And I found Real Broker and I found Lana. And it's so funny. Because I found out about you so organically, because I was working in property management and I was driving around and I would see your signs. I would see your signs, PCS Colorado, all over town. And I'm like, who is this woman? Why? Like, she's so pretty. I want to be her friend. Like, and so then I found you on social media, and then that's when we officially met and everything like that. And I remember sitting down and I had nothing on my Instagram because I like archived all my posts and I had nothing on there. And I remember you were like, hey, you need to post stuff. You need to post something. People are going to think you're a bot. And so, and so that's how I needed that push. I needed that push to be present on social media and not be a secret agent, as they call it. And definitely I've been so inspired by you, Lana, and by you, Tina, just both of you, very, very inspiring women. And I just think that, this conversation of, humble beginnings and kind of looking at that, it provides perspective, for newer agents like myself and for agents who are, fresh out, of the water and just got their licenses, or maybe they're seasoned and maybe they just need some inspiration and some encouragement, because, it's a really interesting market right now. And a lot of people are, down, or, just not, they're not feeling that confidence in themselves. And I think that that's something that is so magnetic about you, Lana, is you help give that confidence to people. And especially with Real Broker, I mean, it just that mix, it just really provides some amazing opportunities for people, especially for me, I've definitely felt very, very supported in that. And it's really amazing to hear, especially how your husband was saying, hey, you need to get out there and get back to work, like that sort of thing. I can only imagine, your initial like the way you initially took that, conversation, but it's just really amazing to see, the fruits of your labor, how they've come to flourish, now in today's moment. Like, it's just so amazing just seeing that come to life and hearing that backstory.
And everybody says it's hard right now, and it is, but you put yourself out there and you make it happen. So you just got back from New York.
Yes, I got back from New York, and I'm done for the traveling for the rest of the summer. I'm ready to deep dive into the lead gen and reactivating all my listings and things like that. But yes, in New York, we had a privilege to celebrate with Real Broker. We've been part of the company for 2 years. And for audience who's listening, look, my real estate journey is very blissful. I have been part of Remax for 5 years, and I give a lot of credit to that company. You're never going to hear me bash Remax or Keller Williams. I went to Keller Williams looking for more strategies, how to grow and scale a team, because I was a very young team leader. And to be honest, I did not know what I was doing. Hopefully I know a little bit more right now. And then opportunity to join Real Broker has presented itself. And we were in New York celebrating 10-year anniversary. And we had a chance to be at NASDAQ, in the middle of the Times Square, and help leadership to ring the bell. And super grateful for these opportunities. Never thought I will be anywhere near NASDAQ or what NASDAQ is, but yeah, it was super, super duper cool.
That's awesome. So you are the Lana Rodriguez group, and you have a partner, which is your husband, who is in real estate with you, and you run a team. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little about that and how you built your business and why.
Yeah, great question, Tina. Thank you for asking. So all happened organically. It was never never a plan, because when we get into real estate, I think we have a false expectation how does it needs to be run, or how it looks like. And for me, growth happened because I was seeking for help. And Brian was active duty, and Brian was always a silent partner for me. Even when we bought our first quadplex together in Austin, Texas, it was our joint endeavor, and him telling me to get into real estate and kind of pushing me towards that. But for many, many years in the beginning of my career, he was still active duty. And before I even got my first assistant, Brian was the one who was driving me to deliver pop buys and, hosting the entry-level client appreciation events. It was him, because I didn't have anybody else. And on year 3, I started a team, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but not much. I brought 3 agents, and I was just giving them leads. We didn't have operations built out or support staff or any SOPs. I was like, here's a lead, let's freaking go. But the way it all evolved, it was, I think, my year 5 or 6, and I already had my son Leo. And Army was going to give us orders to move, our PCS orders. And Brian was like, well, we're going to Seattle. And I told him, I don't think we are. There is no way I can recreate what I have built here with my blood, sweat, and tears, working through both of my pregnancies, weight loss, weight gain. And there was a time in my career when I was used to say, I would go to the closing table and I would say, I'm actually a much better realtor than I'm a mom and a wife. And I no longer say that. I corrected myself. But I used to say that to get business. And I think it was a little bit true. I put a lot of effort into build a name and work to the expectations of this real estate, of the Lana Rodriguez group. And my mom was raising my kid, my second kid. Brian was still at the Fort Carson. I haven't seen him for days. And then there was a moment where like, okay, wait, how about you pause for a second? How about you also pay a little bit of attention to your family? Because see, when you start making all this income and you start investing into things, you don't get to enjoy life. You don't get to enjoy yourself and your motherhood or people around you. It just becomes this little rat race. And I'm very, very thankful for my rat race. But now I just see things a little bit different. I also introduce myself as a mom and a wife, and I'm gonna also sell real estate. Real estate is still part of my equation, but it's not like this. This is it. This is exactly what I am. And when I told Brian, I was like, Brian, we're gonna have to consider you leaving out of the Army. And back then he was already in the service for almost 11 years. And if you're listening, or if you know anyone who's been active duty, it's a big pride thing, especially for men, because that's all Brian knew. He finished West Point Military Academy, and then he went straight active duty. He had 2 deployments, and we had a plan. Because remember, everything is accomplishable by a plan. And the plan was that he was not gonna leave Army fully. He went National Guard for 2 years. So yeah, National Guard duty station was in Denver, Colorado. So
That's good.
Yeah, he did that, and it helped him transition kind of gradually instead of like just leaving what he knows and coming working with his wife. And as he was doing National Guard, I asked him what he wants to do. He was trying to get some jobs here locally, but the job market locally, it was kind of suffering a little bit. He got his master's in real estate. I even didn't know master's in real estate was a thing, but apparently it's a thing in the University of Colorado. And then we made a decision for him to get his real estate license. And it was a lot of trial and error to start to work together. Because remember, I was already running and gunning. I had my systems in place. I knew how real estate needs to be done. And then you have very powerful persona coming into your business, thinking he knows everything, which knows a lot, but not everything. Okay, because let's start from basics. Let's learn Colorado contracts. Let's learn how to enter listing in MLS. But ultimately, I'll tell you this, ladies, working with your spouse, it's the biggest blessing and the biggest curse. Biggest blessing because no one else is going to have your back in business like your significant other.
Right.
Curse is the real estate never leaves your life, your conversations. You wake up, you talk about business. You go to bed, you talk about business. And sometimes it's like, oh man, I wish we just didn't have that. We could just be a normal couple and cook dinner and put the kids to bed. But there's always something business related in our life.
My husband got his real estate license, and the first week he came in the office, he's like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? And I had already been in the real estate industry for like 15 years. And I'm like, get out. just get out. So I gave him my worst client, the one that was like, he's more like black and white. And she was like, I need to, feng shui and all this. And she couldn't make a decision. And so he worked with her for about 2 weeks. He goes, why'd you do that to me? Why? I go, I didn't do it on purpose. Well, I did. And well, she decided to rent after all of that, like 30 houses. And she loved him so much. She was like, so she decided to rent at an apartment complex and asked him over for a barbecue. And he's like, she wants me to come to the barbecue. And he did. He went to the barbecue. He was like, after all that time, I said, now you know what we go through.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
It was so funny. And so anyway, he's a contractor. He's a general contractor right now. And even though we work together a lot, you're right. It's a blessing. It's such a blessing. And we do talk a lot about real estate, but at least we're not in the same office and he's not going, why do you do it that way? So anyway, yeah, I totally get it. Because that was one of the big questions I wanted to ask you. How do you deal with, because I know your husband's personality is very strong, very much like mine too. Although we've worked it out. It's been 27 years. We finally worked it out.
Yeah. You work through trial and error, and then you analyze it, and then is it worth sending him somewhere else? Is it worth for Brian or for your husband to go anywhere else and work for a man, where now it's maybe a little bit more difficult, but at least we work for ourselves, and that's a control
Yes.
and we don't report to anybody. Well, Brian still reports to me, but don't tell him that.
Oh, we won't tell him. No. You know, he's probably going to listen to this. We're all going to be like,
Oh God.
Taylor, did you have any other questions for?
I do actually. So
Yeah.
I wanted to hear more about how exactly you built this incredibly successful business. I mean, I know that your strategies, they had to have been very unique and creative, and I'm curious, how you came up with those strategies and what kind of, drew you to that strategy, and has that evolved over the years, or has it been like, um, you know, focused on one sort of strategy? Kind of walk me through that process.
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Taylor. So first of all, it was important for me to identify what strategies I will not implement. And luckily, I identified these strategies really, really fast. Like door knocking, tried it once. No, thank you. Open house, I'm not going to say that open house is a strategy that works or doesn't. Back then, I tried it out too. It was just not my cup of tea. I came from retail background. So we did retail and clienteling. And I didn't even know, I didn't put two and two together fast enough. But now I see that clienteling or client touches we did in retail, it's pretty much the same thing you can apply in real estate. And a couple years later, I kind of got into that. So door knocking, cold calling, I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I was kind of afraid for a few months. I was like, well, what can I do? And to answer your question, Taylor, I got into Brian Buffini systems, and he was a big calls, notes, and pop buys guy. Well, calls, I was not going to do that. I can DM and message all day long, but primarily it's because I don't like talking on the phone. I have high functioning anxiety. I think a lot of us do that. And I just don't think my best selling style comes through my conversation on the phone. It's in person. That's how I used to sell Kenneth Cole shoes or Michael Kors purses. And another thing that I identified, because I was using my story as an example, we moved here, Brian and I relocated here. We didn't know anybody. In May 2014, we didn't know a single soul. We actually had this one couple of friends, and then they kind of stopped talking to us. I don't know. But it was a self-starting journey. And I was like, wait a second. So I'm an avatar. If you take me, I'm a military spouse. Brian is a military guy. We relocate every 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 if you're lucky. But there is so many other families here, and the concept of community came into my mind, and it was a big aha. So what if I start building this community that I personally lack? I don't have a community here, and I start building this community within my clients, and it worked. It worked. And for anyone listening, even if you are not new to Colorado, if you are Colorado resident, or you are from here, you can still start doing this for your people, for your sphere. Because ultimately, as humans, we are very lonely. It's always lonely. It's always, they say it's lonely on the top, but it's also lonely in the middle, and it's lonely on the bottom. And how do you build something? How do you build a table? Well, one stick at a time. And I would meet these people, and maybe they already bought a house. And the trick question that I still like to ask, oh, you bought a house. Okay, awesome. But who was your realtor? And you just listen, you hear, if they say, oh, Tina Swanger was my realtor, I better back out. Hey, I back out. I know Tina, I love her, but 50% of the time they will tell you, I don't remember. And I'm like, sounds like this particular prospect is for grabs, because if their realtor is not doing good enough job to remain omnipresent, where they just spit their name at the top of their mouth, it means I can probably invite them into my client community, and they can be part of what I'm building.
Part of your family.
Yeah. And that's what I started doing slowly but surely. My micro client events, did a lot of pop buys in the beginning, to the point where I heard the pop buys were a thing. I threw a pie party. No, I'm sorry. Pie parties came a few years later, but in 2014, Tina, I don't know if you remember, but we had the intern group. There was Remax Properties interns, and I was part of those interns.
Yeah.
Chad Pincus was there, and Sarah McGarry, a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And I told them that I'm going to be buying pies and delivering pies for Thanksgiving for random people. And they were laughing at me. They're like, haha, you're going to do this? That's crazy. I was like, yeah, I will. And that particular pop buy party, it was from Costco, $5.99 pies. I delivered 85 pies within 3 days to complete strangers. And how did I get those strangers' informations? I did a Facebook free event on one of the Facebook yard sale groups. Hey, free pie to your door. And immediately within hours, it was like full. It was like 85 people. And I introduced myself in a DM. I was like, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. Will you please provide me your address and day that works for you? And I did that. And what do you think else I did? I threaded all these people on Facebook, majority of 85. They had either solid accounts or
Nice.
human being. And out of those 85, the next year, 5 people either bought or sold with me. Okay.
That's
So,
huge.
so a lot of times this legwork that we do, it's all about the numbers games. Are we going to be everybody's cup of tea, and are they going to use us? No, but I promise you, if you are consistent within your ways and methods, there's going to be somebody who like, okay, Taylor called me. I think I'm going to give this gal a chance. And that's what happened with me. A lot of people were asking me, well, why are you delivering these pies? Like, is this pie even good? I was like, it's from Costco. It's very fresh. And I'm doing this because I am a brand new realtor here in Colorado Springs. I would love to earn your business. And all I had back then is this cheap little Vista print business cards, and I would just leave it to them. They're like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. And it worked. It worked. Once again, out of 85, 5 people closed or bought with me the following year. I thought it was a great success.
It was huge. It was huge. People appreciate hard work. If you demonstrate hard work, people are going to give you a shot. You know, they're just going to, it is, work ethic is so difficult these days. You know, people's expectations of other people's work ethics in every industry, whether it's real estate or automotive or groceries or anything, our expectations are so ridiculously low that when somebody goes over and above and actually works hard, like, whoa, hey, that's cool. That person has integrity. That person was raised correctly. That person, I'm willing to give them a shot because they are doing the right thing. They're doing the hard stuff. They're doing the work. And if they're going to work that hard just to give me a free pie, maybe they'll work that hard to help me find a house or sell my house.
Yeah, so well said, Tina. And you know, it's not about a free pie. The pie I was giving
Right.
out, it's $5.99 at Costco, but it's about
And they
doing,
know that too.
yeah, and it's about, in my opinion, about the gesture of doing something for somebody, like an act of kindness, where your competition is not doing that. Only very little amount of real estate professionals go above and beyond and do something, you know, for a client community or for a community as a whole. And that's where I stood out. I was really big in a lot of Facebook yard groups. Now I'm kind of banned out of all of them because they say I harass people. I'm like, look at me, I don't harass anybody. Like, what are you talking about? But you know, back in the day when somebody
They
posted,
should be so lucky.
yeah. So people, for anyone who's if you are aspiring to be a real estate agent, first of all, number one, connect with Taylor and Tina, and connect with me too. But this is your podcast hosts, and they have their own superpowers. And focus on the people. Don't focus. Yeah, systems is important and operations and all this. But if you focus on the people and you show them that you're competent, that you're genuine, and that you operate out of heart, you will grow, either if you're a real estate professional, a lender, whoever. And of course, know your trade. Learn the contract, learn the you know, the rules and regulations. The law. Yeah, don't break the law. Don't be a dumbass, excuse my language. This is gonna come. And don't be a secret agent, because Taylor said don't be a secret agent, and I agree with that.
That's so true. That's so true. Always have your name tag on, or you know, something. It's make sure that it's so funny whenever you're at a restaurant or whatever, somebody over here is talking about real estate. I'm like,
yes,
there's
it's so
cool
true.
memes about it, but I'm like, oh yeah, you're having problems with your inspection? Oh, who's your realtor?
Yeah, you know, something that I'll never forget and that I've used ever since is when we sat down that one evening, Lana, and you were coaching me through my first ever listing appointment, and you were like, and rule of thumb, never ever show up empty-handed. And I have never forgotten that. I've used that ever since, and it really catches people off guard. It really does, because they're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this." And, "Oh, I didn't a handwritten letter. I haven't seen this in 50 years." Where people still do
Right.
that. But it really goes a long way. And I've definitely I've used that ever since, and it shows people that you care about the details, and that you care about, just making a lasting impression, even if even if you don't get it, even if you don't get the listing or whatever, it
Mhm.
still shows your heart and it still shows your intentions, because there are a lot of people that, they don't have that heart in it. They don't have that commitment
Mhm.
that they should. And it's really unfortunate, but I really appreciate that strategy where it's so organic, and it shows how, compassionate you are, and you're showing that in your business. And I think that's something that's very special, that not a lot of real estate agents can say, because I feel like most agents, they look at it as like, I don't know, just money and business and contracts. Like they don't look at it like person to
Transactions.
person. Yes, they look at it like transactional. And I love your approach of how it's, word of mouth, it's organic, it's, compassionate, and I just love that. And, with everything that you've accomplished and are accomplishing, I'm just really curious, where like, what are your goals moving forward? Like, what's on your to-do list?
Oh, that's a great
Sounds
question.
all right.
Yeah, so my personal goal is to be more healthier. Just between us gals and our audiences, I have been on a weight loss, weight gain journey for quite some time, and it's just ever evolving. And then I seem to find a cure, and then you stop the cure, and like you start gaining weight. So I would like to be more and more consistent with my eating habits and just health in general, because
Yes.
health is wealth. Without health, we cannot support anyone. It's just,
It's the pillar. It's the pillar that supports everything.
it's the pillar. Yeah, so well said, Tina. And then as far as the growth, and I mean, I wish for all of us for market to improve. Will it ever be the same as 2021, 2022? Probably not, but I think it can be a little bit better. The interest rates can come down a little bit, so where the first-time home buyers
I think
feel.
they will. I'm very optimistic. I always prepare for the worst, but optimism is good.
Yeah, because I feel like there's so many people who deserve to be in the houses, and right now they're in standby mode because they cannot afford
Mhm.
whatever the mortgage payments are looking like. And I still want to serve my client community. I don't think I will ever hang, the producing cat. If it's not me servicing, it's going to be my team members. Because I'm a firm believer, real estate sales is still our bread and butter. And then I want to
Mhm.
still support and empower in some shape or form agents near and far. The Real Broker granted me permission to do this, with a cloud-based model and things like that. And people can come into your ecosystem through not being here omnipresent. They can be in a different state or different country. So that's been working out great. And then, of course, focus on my little people. I have a 8-year-old Olivia and 5-year-old Leo, and they're growing up so fast. And I want to be a good mother figure for them, where they are proud to say that my mom is a realtor, instead of like, my mom is a realtor, I have never seen her.
That is huge. That is huge. And I think they're very proud of you. And I follow you. I watch you on Instagram and Facebook and all of that. And I'm just very impressed. Your character, your integrity, and I can see now I don't see you behind closed doors, but I
Well,
can tell you know what, you're so transparent and so beautiful as far as, yeah, I'm sure they're very proud.
thank you,
Very.
Tina.
You know,
Thank you.
we always want to leave a legacy. With Joe passing and going to a few funerals and knowing, I've lived on the planet a little bit longer than you ladies, unfortunately, probably even combined almost.
Oh,
I,
stop.
my thoughts, always go to when I'm gone, um, did I make the world a better place? That's so big for me. I'm not going to say I wish I would have sold another house. I'm going to say I want to make a difference. And whether it's in my coworkers or in my kids or my husband or my community. And I think you ladies feel the same way. That's why I think we're, connected energetically and with love, a lot of love. And I think that's very powerful. And the world needs a lot more of that. Don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, Tina. Yeah, even the Joe's memorial service, like not a lot of times you can leave funeral or memorial service or celebration of life inspired. And that's how Brian and I left, like just hearing stories about Joe and how he influenced and inspired all these people. Like we wanted to be a better people living that celebration of life. And I think
Too.
we don't think enough, like when we have our own celebration of life. Like no one, you said it so well, no one's going to talk about how many homes Tina sold, how many homes Lana sold. It's how you impacted these people and the legacy. Our goal should be that our legacy lives way on after we're not here, but hopefully it's through our children or through our relatives or through our friends, maybe some kind of foundation, nonprofit or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. I'm looking through. We went through what's next, building your personal brand, your relationships, kids. Wow. You just know this stuff. This is good. I think what's beautiful about interviewing you is when you're really clear about what your life path is like, it just flows and you really hit all the beautiful points of what our life is supposed to be like. And I hope anybody listening to this is inspired, has gotten a few tips and tricks. Are there any tips and tricks you can give people, other maybe aspiring agents or people who want to be real estate agents right now? Anything that you can share, little gems?
Oh man.
I
Yeah.
know you got so many. It's like, how do I pick the most important?
Yeah. So I already said, focus on the people. Okay.
Okay.
People, because you never know who can actually support you when the support is needed.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask for help, and it doesn't need to be dramatic or nagging way, but just simply communicate. If you have let's say if you are getting into real estate and you're brand new and you have a good set of group of friends, well, first of all, identify if those friends have a real estate professional that will know, like, and trust, and they refer. If it's a no, then it will be you, and explain them, educate them that us realtors, we don't have salary or don't have an hourly fee. It's literally operating by a big leap of faith, assuming or hoping or praying that somebody's going to use us to buy or sell a house. And then if that transaction closes within the next 30 to 45 days, hopefully we'll get compensated. Because a lot of public does not know how we operate. They do not know that we need referrals. They think Taylor
We don't
got
close, we don't eat.
yeah, Tina got this. She has a book of business of 45 years. No, it doesn't look, it's not like that. So don't be afraid to, in a classy way, to script where you're asking for help, you're asking for support. And that's where Brian Buffini is like, ask for referrals. And word of mouth and working by referral, it's a little bit different, but because through word of mouth, we hope that people can refer us, but through working by referral, we actually like educate our clients that, hey, if you deserve
Intentional.
yeah, if you appreciate this level of service I provide, please introduce me to your family and friends. I would love to take care of them. And always be learning, because real estate is one of the industries that's evolving way too fast. 1 week there's something else. Stay omnipresent within local, not news, but like policies. Like, for example, in August we have contract changes, and we better,
Better
stay
be up to speed.
yeah, don't ignore the little things, because little things can evolve into the big things. And just be a good human being, because there's already plenty of shitty people around, and we don't need another dick stick. Okay, we need more good servant leaders who actually care about what they do, and that don't make us look bad.
Don't be afraid to let
Facts.
things go.
Yeah,
That was the most important thing in my career, was the first time that I actually looked at the opportunity and said, you know what, this opportunity is not good for me. That was the first time I actually let a client go. And, just said, you know what, this isn't working for me. Not whether it wasn't working for them. They just, they were going to drag me along and make my life miserable. And the first time I said, this isn't working for me, that's when my entire career changed. I held a boundary and I actually grew so intensely after that. My confidence soared and my skill set soared because I knew I was doing the right thing for the right reason when nobody else was. And that was powerful. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you for sharing, Tina.
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I did a little talk at your office the other day, and that was on your website. And I was like, oh my God, that's been my mantra my entire life. Theodore Roosevelt. I love that. That is, I think I'm going to get a tattoo. You think I should get a tattoo? Like, right? No.
I've been because I have another I don't know if you ladies can see it. I have another saying over there, and I've been literally thinking and soul searching if I should get a tattoo here as a friendly reminder. And it goes like this: what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?
Ooh. Oh, I got chills. I got chills. Okay, so I have to go to another meeting right now. Speaking of real estate, I am going to fly up north and hopefully the traffic doesn't swallow me whole. I have absolutely loved this. We're going to get some really good stuff out of this and we'll send you the recording. But thank you everybody for being here. And Taylor, you want to wrap us up?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Lana. It was such a pleasure to finally have you on our podcast. We've been trying to do this for so long. So thank you so much for just impacting so many people in their lives, including mine, and I'm sure Tina's. And we just, appreciate you, treasure you, and we're really excited to share all of this information with our audience. So please let us know if you have any questions. We would love to help you, and feel free to drop any of those questions in the comments as well. But we'll have everyone's contact information and social medias in the description. So feel free to stalk us on social media, and we will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.